distractions. So the last video, which has been a very long time, I do apologize, was we were talking about taking him into different environments. You know, kind of what I'm doing is letting him build confidence. So one of the next kind of steps to what we're going to be doing is working a little bit on finiting that recall. He does really good at home, but what we want to prepare for is out in the real world. There's a lot of different things, distractions. It can be harder for them to focus, and especially when you have a dog that does not have the same social exposure as most dogs his age should, in my opinion. That can be harder to work with. What I'm not necessarily worried about him recalling, but what I am worried about is the fact that, you know, if anything happens from point A to point B, is him being distracted or being fearful even and running off. And that way, so first there's a couple things that happen. My recall becomes non-existent because he's running away, he's dealing with a fear response. What I could do to kind of help that out is introduce him to the e-collar, and I'll probably do that in another couple episodes, but we're not doing that right now, because right now I want to work on him having an understanding of what we're working on, and not so much him having an e-collar on right now. I don't like introducing tools to dogs that are very fearful, especially if I can do something that can prevent it. To me, this is anxiety, but this is manageable anxiety. So we've got construction going over here. This is really, I like this. I've got enough space to kind of do what I want. There's construction going over here. I'm in a mall parking lot, so you know, you got people it's Saturday, you got people kind of coming in and out, but they're all the way over there. So he's got distractions kind of going on all around him, but there's nothing inherently pressing. He's got enough room to be anxious, but he's got enough space for him to be an observer, and that's kind of what we're looking for. So as far as your reinforcement goes, it's really going to be up to you. I'm using food today. I'm going against my own rule here. I've got hot dogs in a pocket, but I hate wearing my suit, my toasty suit, because it was like below freezing this morning. It's not now, but it's really hard to wear the dog training pouch with this on, so I just use this pocket and I put food in it. So I guess at some point we'll need to discuss the difference between food and toys. I know right now, because he's anxious, I know that the food is always going to work. It may not, but it has a higher percentage of working. So what I'm going to do, this is all I'm going to do, is I'm just going to take him, I'm going to walk him around on the way. I like how he's focused. So anytime that he's looking at me, I'm rewarding that right now, and that's just not for any particular reason, except, you know, I want him to be focused. So what you might also notice, which might cause some controversy, I have him on a flexi lead. He's on a flat collar. He's actually, I guess it would be agitation collar, but he's on a flexi lead, so he can kind of go back and forth. I feel like it's like one of those things where we shit on the tools, but we don't actually know how to use them. And I like flexis for the sense that if I need immediate control over the dog, I could just hit that button. I got him. But he's got enough space to kind of make his own decisions too. When he becomes a little bit more proficient, we might be talking about using a drag line for him in some circumstances. Because our recall right now is about 80%, there's a lot of distractions. If he runs off, I'm never seeing him again. Like we've got 220 over here. It's a mall parking lot. You know, he's gonna be freaked out. So I want to have that extra control, and I have it with this. And I like it in this sense better than I do using a slip lead. Well, not a slip lead, but a long line. So I'm a firm believer that after some debate on this for a couple years, because I used to be very anti-flexi lead, I realized that you really can't, you can't hate certain tools if you use other tools. So if I am pro e-collar and prong collar, I really am not in any capacity to be judging anybody who uses a flexi correctly, right? Oh, actually, I forgot we have 3 constructions. There's that one, and there's that one. So I'm going to work him a little bit. When do we start doing the recall work? Well, this is the game that we're going to start. There's a couple things you can do and build value. The first thing is obviously from your hand to the dog. One game I do like playing is actually tossing the food, because what you're doing is you're actually creating that chase drive, so or that prey drive almost. So dogs are motivated by moving things. So if you throw something, they're going to go get it. Now, again, I have food, I don't have toys on me. And in this context, I don't want to really be using toys right now. I don't bring toys to the picture in this scenario unless I feel like the dog has a really good sense of retrieve in bringing that toy, because this would be really bad for a game of keep away in this environment. So I want to have more of a solid foundation on that before I introduce toys into this context. So I'm going to walk them around again. So one of the things that you can do is, of course, this is what I encourage everybody, and this is going to kind of be a review on recall work. So one of the first things you can do is, of course, building value in yourself. You say yes, and then the dog walks away. You walk with the dog. Yes. So I just put a little pressure. You can also say this too if you wanted. So feel that pressure, and I say, "Come here." He comes. I give him the reward. So right there, what we're doing, I'm motivating with him. I'm taking my body language and I'm moving back. We got a van right the fuck there. See, this is like I'm saying, this is why I like the flexi lead in this context. Not for this particular dog, in this moment in time, this is the best case scenario, because I have very much easily more control over this than anything. So I can say, okay, come here. And I'm going to backtrack a little bit. He comes in, I reward him. And he's not really distracted by a whole lot, which is I'm actually really impressed with. But I can just bring it back over here, reward him. Reward him, so you see how he's happy, his body's wiggly, he's engaged, he's happy. So the other game that I might try to make this more interesting is upping my ante with a little bit more throwing the food, having him recall, and having him come back. So what I might do is I might go ahead and initiate that play drive, that chasing, because again, movement is motivation. So you saw how his body language completely changes when I do this, and I make him excited. He's like, yeah, this is great, this is great. So it's not really so much just the food, it's my body language too. So what I might do for fun right now is I might take this and I throw it. He goes and gets it. And I say, come here. Good. So he's gonna get food no matter what. So there's no losing here. But the thing is that he's going and getting food, because it's initiating that part of the brain that he's getting a dopamine hit from chasing, from that pursuit. And then I'm calling him back and he's getting food for that, which is freaking awesome. It's a win-win for him, really. Let me dig in here a little bit more. Do it a couple more times. But you guys kind of get the gist of what it is. All right, so I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go over here. Yes. He's excited. He's ready. I'm gonna say throw it. He's gonna get it. Say, good boy. And so one important thing that I really have to say about recall work is you don't necessarily want to make it really, when you're in the training stages, I say, TJ, here, like a lot of people get really stuck on that very formal command. And I see this a lot in pet circles. And the reason why, in sports, like if I'm working on PSA, for example, or even agility, if I say something a certain way, my dog has been so counter-conditioned. Like if I'm asking my dog for foos, and I say foos, my dog's like, fuck yeah. Like they've been so conditioned for that. They're just like, but that's taken hours and hours and hours of repetition and making that fun. They get a lot of reward, foosing, right? They get a lot of reward for that. Your dog at home has not. You're trying to make this fun for them. This is supposed to be fun. If you're looking at your dog as like a doe in the headlights, like what? And you're saying, Fido, here, right now, Fido, and they have no context whatsoever, they're like, well, she sounds really angry. I'm gonna go over here. That's a lot of social pressure for your dog if you're not prepared for it. So what I like to do is I like to try to make it fun, if I can. Make it fun, be silly, make a silly voice, and then you're gonna throw the food. Okay, good boy. Yes, good boy. And then I'm going to throw the food again. Ready? Go. There you go. Give me. It's a game. It's a game for him. And that's kind of what we're looking for, really, is we want all this stuff to be fun and a game. So I know I have gotten really bad at what's that? I know we've gotten really bad at doing the updates like we've been promising, but hopefully we'll get back on track. So, as always, we will see you guys hopefully in the next couple weeks, week and a half.